She dialed 911 on me for parking in my own driveway. It was barely 6 in the morning. I hadn't even turned off the engine when she came storming across my lawn in a silk robe, slamming her fist against my window like I committed a crime. "Move this junk," she snapped, her voice sharp and impatient. "Or I'm calling the cops." I didn't argue, didn't try to explain. I just sat there and watched her make the call. Her perfume pushed through the crack in my window, heavy and irritating. Gravel crunched beneath my tires as the engine idled, and she stood there smiling like she already knew how this would play out. 5 minutes later, a patrol car rolled up. The officer stepped out, glanced at her, then turned to me. "Morning, Chief." The color drained from her face. So fast, I thought she might collapse right there. And that moment, that was only the beginning of her problems. Ever had a neighbor call the cops on you for something completely legal? Go ahead, drop your story in the comments. Because this situation didn't end with a warning. It ended with federal attention on everything she touched. Let me rewind. My name is Garrett Boone. Most people just call me Bo. I'm 43 years old, and I've worn a badge for 18 of those years. 6 months ago, I became chief of police for Willow Ridge County. Population 67,000. It's not a massive department. 32 officers, a few detectives, and enough paperwork to bury a man. But it's home. I grew up here. I know every street, every corner. After my mom passed last year, I bought her house, the one I was raised in, a 1960s ranch on Oakmont Drive, blue-collar neighborhood, chain-link fences, big oak trees that never stop shedding leaves, and those L-shaped driveways where one side leads to a detached garage and the other opens into a parking pad. My mom used to let people turn around in hours. I kept doing the same until Cassidy Whitmore moved in next door. Cassidy's 51, works in luxury real estate consulting, timeshares mostly, platinum blonde hair that wouldn't budge in a hurricane, perfect French nails always tapping on her phone, and a leased Mercedes she's barely keeping afloat. She bought the Colonial next door about 6 months ago. White columns taller than my house. And for some reason, that seemed to bother her. The first week, she came over smiling, but it never reached her eyes. "Your oak tree drops leaves into my yard," she said. "You need to trim it." I rested my hand on the trunk, feeling the rough bark under my palm. The tree's been there 100 years, right on my property line. "I can rake your yard once a week if you like," I offered. Her smile thinned. "I'm sure we can find a more permanent solution." By week 3, things escalated. I came home from a night shift around 6 in the morning, coffee gone cold in the cup holder, parked my '85 Bronco, forest green, restored with my own hands, right where I always do. 47 minutes later, she was pounding on my door in that same silk robe. "Your truck is an eyesore," she said. "Put it in the garage or park it on the street." "It's my driveway, ma'am." "No, HOA. Vehicles legal and registered. I have important clients coming this weekend. That thing lowers my property value. I'm not moving it." Her heel struck the concrete sharply as she stormed away. I figured that was the end of it. I was wrong. That evening, I pulled into the same spot after a grocery run. She came out immediately, phone in hand, dialing 911. "Ma'am, this is my property. I'm not breaking any laws." She ignored me, speaking loudly into the phone. "There's a suspicious vehicle blocking access. The driver is refusing to move. I feel threatened." I recognized the dispatcher's voice, Stella, 15 years on the job. I could hear the confusion when she heard my address. I called non-emergency. "Stella, it's Bo, send someone. I want this documented." Cassidy's eyes narrowed. "You're lying." 10 minutes later, Officer McNally, my old partner, pulled up. He took her statement while she stood there looking smug. Then he turned to me. "Chief, you need anything else?" The word hit her like a brick. She froze. "Chief!" "Yes, ma'am," McNally said calmly. "You just called 911 on the chief of police for over the next 10 days. She shifted tactics. No more complaints about parking. She got strategic. It started with a noise complaint. Saturday morning. I was mowing the lawn with an electric mower, barely louder than a vacuum. When dispatch called, "Chief, we've got a noise complaint at your address." I shut off the mower. "You're serious?" "Wish I wasn't. Caller says you're violating the noise ordinance." Officer Ramirez showed up trying not to laugh. "Let me guess," I said. 10 in the morning. Saturday. Electric mower. He checked his tablet. Noise allowed from 9 to 8 on weekends. "You're clear." Cassidy's curtain shifted just enough for me to know she was watching. No violation, but it was logged. Exactly what she wanted. I went inside and started writing everything down. Date, time, complaint, officer, outcome. Something told me that list was about to get long. 4 days later, I found a surveyor in my yard. Cassidy had hired him, claiming my fence was 4 inches onto her property. That fence has been there since 1973. I had a certified survey from when I bought the place. Pulled it out, showed him. He checked his numbers, frowned. "Yeah, you're right." 2 days later, I got certified mail demanding I remove the fence or face legal action. My attorney friend responded with documentation and suggested she verify her surveyor's credentials. Turns out the company she hired had a reputation. Manufactured disputes, angry homeowners, bad reviews. She didn't want the truth. She wanted confirmation. Then came the sprinkler system. I just installed it myself. Saved about $1,200. Tested everything. Perfect. Next day, 3 heads snapped clean off. Cassidy walked over. "Oh, my landscaping crew must have stepped on them. Sorry." Her crew was her nephew with a weed whacker. The footprints in the soil told the real story. Deliberate stomps. Clean breaks. I documented everything. Photos. Angles. Patterns. Filed a report. Kept myself out of it. Deputy Chin handled it. He looked at me when he finished. "This is harassment, Chief." "I know," I said. "That's why we're documenting it." 3 days later, she took it online. A vague Facebook post about aggressive behavior and authority figures abusing power, with my house in the background. Didn't take long for the neighbors to shut it down. People who'd known me for decades weren't buying it. She deleted the post, but I'd already saved everything. That night, I spread it all out across my kitchen table. False complaints, fake survey, vandalism, online attacks, a clear pattern. And then I noticed something else. Every complaint happened when I was in uniform. She wasn't just harassing me. She was building a narrative. A few days later, she taped an envelope to my door. Inside, photos of me in uniform getting into my Bronco. Dozens of them. A note. Public servants should set an example. I sat there on the warm concrete step, listening to kids playing down the street, a dog barking somewhere nearby. Everything looked normal, but nothing about this was normal anymore. So I requested all call logs tied to my address. 11 calls, all from her, all unfounded. One woman accounted for 73% of the calls on our street. That's when I knew this wasn't just a bad neighbor. This was something else entirely.